Um, First of all, I guess, talk a little about last week and what you were doing, because you're now involved with the footballspeakers.com, and you had a big speaking engagement. Can you share with us what happened?
Oh, that's awesome. I recently joined on with footballspeakers.com, and I'm one of the few guys that didn't play NFL football, or I didn't coach, but they said if I could talk good SEC content that they could keep me employed, so I'm kind of banking on that. But last week I got to speak to a charity here in Atlanta called No Longer Bound, which does a phenomenal job with addicts for drug and alcohol rehab. They have over 80% success rate, which is really phenomenal, and I got a chance to spend the evening with them on a Champions Club night, and it was a great opportunity for me to be able to share my story with them, and I probably enjoyed it more than they did.
Well, Jay, hey, one more story from you that we'd like for you to share before we get into the college basketball talk was you were telling me this week that share with us your story and the situation with Marcus Lattimore, the big recruit, big 5-star recruit out of Byrnes High School, I believe, out of South Carolina. He obviously ended up with the South Carolina school.
Yeah, Paul, I had written a story about Marcus Lattimore. He had basically started out the season with about 30 schools on his radar, and at the very end he had narrowed it down to about 2, and it came down to Aubur and South Carolina. And, we follow this stuff all the time, and we see these kids that go out of state and then they transfer back, and there's just a whole lot of reasons that I believe that in-state talent should stay in-state if they can. I believe that the best players in the state should stay in-state. I think Urban Meyer's definitely figured that out. He recruits right out of that area. And I think if you can stay within about 3 hours of where the parents live, that the parents can provide the support to the kids as they're going through tough times. So I wrote a story about Marcus Lattimore. He's a top 5 recruit in the country. I wrote a story. I did 2 radio shows about it. I uploaded my radio shows to YouTube, and his father saw those videos, and then so he called me up, and I got involved in the recruiting process. He started just asking me a lot of questions about both schools, and we stayed up until the late hours of the night. I was answering questions about both schools, and I had seen some kids from Columbia that had gone to other schools and came back to Columbia, and I knew the story about Herschel Walker, how he will always be endeared to Georgia fans. And Noshawn Marina this past year, he left early for the pros. He's from New Jersey. He will never be in the hearts of Georgia fans like Herschel Walker. So I've seen the story play out time and time again. Eric Berry was another good example. He was from the state of Georgia. He went up to Tennessee. His parents were going through some tough times. And the alumni at Tennessee really was not able to take care of him like they would have if he would have gone to the state of Georgia, to the University of Georgia. So I know that when big recruits stay in state, the alumni tend to take care of the family. And it's all legal, but they tend to give them jobs. They tend to keep them employed. And so I just wrote a story passionately about that. It got a lot of response. A lot of Auburn fans were sending some fairly ugly email. I think I'm back in their good graces now, because they got another big recruit, that Michael Dyer, who was actually the number 2 running back in the country. So they still had a great recruiting class, and I got to spend the Saturday with Marcus. I got to spend the day that he committed with him, and that was just an unbelievable experience. So it's fun getting involved with the recruiting. I'm kind of glad that's over, and we're into basketball. But I'm always looking forward to the upcoming football season.
Well, that's great stuff, Jay. Thanks for sharing that with us. Before we let you go, one college football question, since we have you here. We got to get your thoughts here on obviously what happened in Tennessee with Kiffin leaving and going to USC, and Derek Dooley now the head coach there.
Oh wow! I mean, I was kind of in the middle of all that stuff going on. I was kind of shocked by it, but I guess looking back at it, we shouldn't have been. I think Lane Kiffin always had his eyes on USC. The thing that I know about it was basically Derek Dooley was not their first choice, but I do think that he was a great choice for them. I think that he brings a whole lot of character in. I think that the man knows how to build a program. He was under Nick Saban for 7 years. I think that any coach that's under Saban for any length of time is going to be a great coach to bring into a program. And I think you're going to see a lot more of these coaches being picked from his tree and put into the head coaching positions. I think he's going to do a great job. I don't know if they're going to be competing for the SEC championship this year. I think they're a couple of years out. They had the benefit of having 8 recruits already listed, and it got touch and go there for a while because they had some kids there that were looking at other schools, and there was a little bit of some confusion about the kids were already in the dorms, but they were not going to classes yet. And they had about 3 guys that were supposedly going to go to other schools, and they were told by Tennessee people that once you're in the dorm, you are committed. And that is not really the truth. The truth is once you go to class, and some of those guys were out of class for 3 days. They weren't even going to school. But they're enrolled at Tennessee now. They're going to be Vols, and so I think he was mostly trying to get coaches in there. But I do believe that he will know those guys by the time summer gets here, and he'll be ready once the fall gets here for SEC football.
Jay, hey, great stuff like always. We appreciate your time, and best of luck to you with the speaking engagement. It's great to hear that, okay? And we'll talk to you again soon, and you have a great weekend.
All right, you guys too. Hey, we're redoing SEC Sports Report. I should have a new site up here within the next 2 weeks, so I hope you guys will check it out.
All right, certainly, Jay. Looking forward to it. Thanks so much, Jay.
Thank you.
Warm weather's coming, Jay.
I hope so.
Thanks so much. Jay Holgate of SECsportsReport.com. We're moving along here Saturday morning. Dr. Z, Paul Chestnutt with you. Let's take a quick break. You're listening to the Saturday Sports Blitz on News Radio 1620.
About a year ago.